welcome to Cherie's weight loss journey. It is November. Yes, it's November. I had looked up the birth charts of Camilla and Trump. Okay? And both of them have very significant Gemini placements, right? Gemini placements. Trump has a Gemini sun, okay? And Kamala has an ascendant, meaning that she was born in the house of Gemini. Okay? And I'm going to tell you, y'all need to stop. You really do. You need to stop it. You think you know astrology, but you don't. Okay? So, either way it goes, either president that we get, they have significant Gemini placements. That's all there is to it. Okay? Okay. Yeah. And it's true. You know, you have these vampires out here, you know, who are all connected by blood, calling themselves family, right? And they actually think that, you know, they've been gifted by the divine, right? Because they wanted to live forever. And you know, I put that out there also, right? Who was the first Dracula in Europe? At least the first known Dracula, which was Caesar Caligula, right? And it's like, okay, right? And then I'm like, well, you know, shit, in Africa, you know, the way that they was drinking animal blood, which they still do. They still do. They drinking animal blood to this day, right? And if you look at videos, you know, they'll make a kill. Sometimes they don't even have to kill them. If they get, you know, like a goat or a cow, you know, and they're hungry, you know, they're like, shit. If it's a goat, you know, they'll get some of the milk of the goat and then turn around and, you know, cut the goat and take some of its blood, and they're like, yeah, now they're full. They do this to this day, especially, you know, when I'm talking about Africa, I'm talking about like Central Africa and below, right? In North Africa, they don't do that. You know, they're a little bit more, they're a little bit more civilized. And look, what is civilized? What is being civilized? Civilized is being conscious enough to want to elevate as the human race, right? So, yeah. And like I'll tell you, I mean, if they're still drinking blood to this day, if they're still selling their kids in Africa, right? If they're still selling their children in Africa because they don't have the money to raise all of these kids that they're having with their many wives, right? And that's just the ones that they actually claim. Okay? Now, let's keep it real. Right? If you have many wives, those are just the ones you claim. These men are not having, these wives and then saying, well, I'm claiming these wives. This is all the only people that they're going to have sex with. Right? And it just blows my mind when I'm sitting up here looking at black women mad. They mad. I'm like, why you mad? They're like, I'm mad because, my man, won't treat me well and be loyal to me. And then he'll go to a woman of another race or a high yellow woman, right? And treat her better than he would me. And it's just like, yeah, but when they came around you and told you that they wasn't a monogamous man, that they wasn't going to just have one woman, you were the first one to say, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Right? Then you get pregnant and think that that's going to make them change their minds. And it's like, it never has. Look back in your country. Look back in Africa. They got all of these wives with children that they left behind and moved on to new wives. Right? And the women over there, they never correct the children. No. They had the opportunity to correct these sons, right? But nope. Instead, they get the men to go out with other men, and these other men are like, yeah, we out here buck wild. We out here buck wild. Okay? So now the black woman is mad. She's mad. I'm like, why you mad? And she's like mad because even though he's with her at times, right? He still has another woman on his mind. I'm like, why you mad? Why you mad? Okay? You mad because another man sits up here and entertains thoughts of another woman and he's with you? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, so what are you gonna do? Kill her? As if he ain't gonna find somebody else to dream about when the fantasy leaves. Why? Because you're not his fantasy. Why you're not his fantasy, I don't know. Don't care. Right? As a matter of fact, I'm kind of hoping that, he does change up his fantasies. Okay? I'm kind of wishing, because this spiritual warfare, it's been lasting way too long. Okay? So, anyway, yesterday I had a really bad day. Oh my God. the energy that was coming down on my body was strong. And I'm like, dang, it's really hard, when you're getting all of these energies coming from every which way to transmute that shit, right? Sometimes the only way I can transmute that shit is to go into the unconscious. Then I can transmute it very well. But I didn't want to spend my day, sleeping it away. Okay? So, yeah. Needless to say, I did have to go to sleep early yesterday. Had to go to sleep early. Which was good, because I got some good rest. I feel like the rest, was needed. Right? This wasn't really a pain. It wasn't painful. It was dizzying, kind of nauseating. And I'm like, dang. Dizzy and nauseating? Are you serious? I can feel high without having to take the drug? Ooh. Okay. So, that was cool for a minute. Right? To be high and not even having to take any drugs. Right? Because your equilibrium is off. And I'm like, okay, I got you. Right? But, if it lasts too long, I can always take some, what do they call it? Motion sickness pills. I got some. Yes, I do. Because I be flying all the time. So anyway, yesterday, for my snacks, I have to take an extra serving of protein mix at night, because I'm really not eating a lot of calories, and that could be another reason why I'm suffering a little bit of dizziness, because I'm eating like about 1,200 to 1,500 calories a day. And I've been doing this now for 2 months. And I think I'm in probably what they would call like the keto state, right? Whenever you go into these keto states, you're burning the fat off your body, right? And those keto states, they can be, intense. I mean, especially if you're sensitive. If you're sensitive, that keto state, can make you feel a little bit dizzy. And then again, I could have been having, ascension symptoms. Yes, I could have been doing all three of the above, right? Because I'm like, sitting up here, solidifying my Mercury body, right? A lot of people don't understand Mercury. Mercury is actually a liquid metal, and it's poisonous, right? This is why I'm not worried about people who think that they could take my energy. Because not everybody can handle mercury. They'll get lead poisoning. All right. So I'm I'm solidifying my mercury body, right? And I'm like, putting that mercury inside of my 10 pentacles, right? I'm filling the pentacles up with mercury. Yeah. Because that's what I want, right? You can have your gold, but to me, mercury is gold. It's golden. Okay? Liquid metal. Look it up. And it's poisonous. But then, I'm like, bite me, bitch. Bite me. Oh my God. Let me stop. Anyway, we're starting to get cooler weather. And we finally got some rain here in Texas. At least northern Texas. Right? We haven't had rain and cool weather in I don't know how long. It's like we went through the whole summer in a drought. So now every time I see a car that's, turned around, I'm like, either they spun out or they got spun out, right? No, that didn't make no sense. Because what they'll do is that, that tactic maneuver that the police will do when somebody is, has to be stopped, right? And they'll clip them on the back and spin the car around. I can't remember what they call it, but it's a tactical maneuver. And I was just looking over there on the other side, and there was this truck that was, faced in the wrong direction. Because I know the longest time I kept saying, how in the hell is that car turned around? What kind of accident could they have had? Asking all kinds of questions. So yeah. Hold on. So anyway, yesterday before I went to sleep, I was watching a news report where this woman whose daughter was going to dentistry school. She was 26 years old. She had came back home during, summer break to spend time with her family in Armadillo, Texas. Yeah, I think it was Armadillo, Texas. And anyway, her family member, proposed that, they go to this party. Okay? They get to this party, and it's almost instantly, by the time she came into the house, these men ravished her, attacked her, and killed her, and almost killed the boy that brought her into this home. Okay? And the woman is making a plea to society, like, can't let this go on, you know. And then she states the reason why this has been allowed is because there was a Caucasian amongst these thugs, right? But we already know most Caucasians, you know, yeah, some of them are killers, for sure. Some of them are killers, right? But they ain't trying to prove, you know, their manhood. That's ridiculous. Oh, hold on. Okay. So here's the thing, right? I've already given you the information that you needed, right? And like if you hung up on a man and the man don't want you, you need to learn how to pleasure yourself. Okay? Now, if it's about the money, right? Then, you know, you're going to have to educate yourself, right? Because education is power and power is power, right? That's why they told you they didn't want you to have an education, because they didn't want you to have any power. Okay? So, read some books. Yep, you know how to read. Read some books. Right? And stop trying to make your priority, you know, a man of the opposite gender. Because a lot of these men, they don't really even like women. Now, they'll fantasize about women all day. All day they'll fantasize about these women. But like them? No, they don't. They don't like the women and they don't like children. They want to have some kids, but they don't want to take care of no kids. And they sure enough don't want to pay no child support. That's the first thing the majority of these men had asked. Camilla, you know, can you give us a reprieve on the child support? If you can do that, then we'll vote for you. As if that's something that Camilla would ever do. Because Camilla was like, man, 20%. The same amount that you would pay for taxes is what you would pay for your child support. 20% of your income. Now, just because you run around here and have 20 kids, that has nothing to do with her. Ain't got shit to do with her. Hold on. And I thought it was weird that was what they would ask a woman to do for them. Right? To stop the enforcement of child support, while at the same time they want to outlaw abortion. It's like, well, what do you think is going to happen to the kids? And then you don't want the woman to be out in the workforce, right? No, you don't want them to be out there in the workforce. So this is what I don't understand. You don't want them to be out there in the workforce. You don't want them to make money. You don't want to be loyal to them, right? And being with you is like a fucking death sentence. If you ain't beating them to death, then you shutting them up so they can't talk and causing them to turn in on themselves and causing them to have, you know, an internal disease that may be cancerous because they can't talk, right? And then, your kids end up, in the system, and you mad. See, this is how the generational curses start. People don't want to believe in generational curses. But when you have a situation where the men, have a woman that, can't express herself, so she ends up turning inward, and her body turns on her, right? That's what cancer is. Cancer is when your own body turns against you. And this has happened as a result of them not allowing women to express themselves, right? So if you're a woman who can't express yourself for long periods of time, you are going to suffer, and you are going to beat yourself up until you eventually cause yourself harm. Okay? And internally, spiritually, your soul. Okay? So then, these men, they end up either having to take care of the woman's children, or they have to take care or find a woman that will help them take care of the children. Okay? Nowadays, women don't want to take care of other men's children. That's the one thing they hate most of all, because, they used to be able to just, trade the women in and out. Right? But nowadays, women are like, I don't want to take care of another woman's children. And he's like, it's not another woman's children. These are my children. If you love me, then you should love my children. And the women are like, I ain't got that kind of love for you. I want my own children. And he's like, well, I'll give you some children. So that goes back to another video that I watched. I watched this other video where this guy, he had children by another woman. And the son was getting incorrigible. And the mother was like, I can't handle your son, can you please, can you please, come get your son? So the son, he now has to live with his father and his new family. Right? And he's not happy there, right? Because his brother, his half brother, was able to have his pregnant girlfriend live in the house in this family, right? So he asked his father, can he go and spend the night at his girlfriend's house, right? And the father says, no, you cannot. And you better come home. right? And the son got so irate behind this because he was like, nah, this is totally unfair. You playing favorites and stuff with your new family. You got this, your present family son, in the household with a pregnant woman. And you are denying me the opportunity just to go and spend the night with my girlfriend? Oh my God. When this boy got home, he came home and he killed the daddy, the mama, the pregnant girlfriend, shot the brother, and ran out of that bitch. And he did. He went to go spend the night with his girlfriend, but then he had to run. Then he had to run. Right? But he was like, he did not like the hierarchy that he was put in because his father had decided, to favor his new family above him. And it wasn't just because him and the mama didn't get along. This is what the son was coming to terms with. The son was coming to terms with, my mama's not even here. I'm living in your house. And yet you treated me like I'm a foster kid. And you treat these present kids as if they better than me. I'm telling you, if that ain't like a scene out of Shaka Zulu, I don't know what is, right? Where Shaka Zulu was like, no, you gonna treat my mama like the queen that she is. And if you're not, I'm gonna kill you and I'm gonna crown her queen. And he did. So anyway, this is sad because, like I said, black men and Asian men are the last of the tribal people that want to be inequitable, right? And yes, there is a segment of white people. There is a segment of Spanish people. There's a segment in all races. But percentages are everything. Okay? So anyway, thank you for watching. I knew this was coming, right? Because, like I said, no kid wants to go into an extended family situation and feel as if, they're beneath, other family members. They just don't. However, sometimes the only way that you can prove that they're not beneath family members is to try to elevate them above the family members. It's like, oh, well, we've elevated you above the family members, because we understand that, you have this inferiority complex, however, we can't keep doing this because now you making the whole family suffer just in order for you to feel healed enough to feel that you're accepted. That's another problem, right? It's almost as if you can't say, okay, what's the one thing that I can do to make you feel that you are indeed, an equal part of the family. And they will rebuttal and say, well, if you're only going to do one thing, then, once that one thing is over with, then I go back to being, a third class citizen in my own family. Right? Which, they've been treating women like third class citizens all along, but, yeah. But this is why, black women need to understand that these men, your sons, right? Your sons, they're not monogamous. And they built up such a tolerance through their promiscuity that, they really don't love life, right? Because people who haven't had utilized their sexual nature, they have the tendency to feel good about sex. Whereas other people who have utilized their sexual nature, and it's like, they have to compartmentalize all of these sexual memories, dismiss them, and every time, they get to similar feelings, they dismiss those too, and, and it becomes a pattern, and the next thing you know, there you have it, they are totally insensitive. And that, so insensitive that the act of intercourse is sex. They don't believe in love. Okay? And it's just real. And I know you might be saying, but you just told us we should learn to pleasure yourself. Pleasuring yourself is not abusing yourself. Okay? Pleasuring yourself is not taking advantage over somebody else to pleasure you, and then, building up a wall to say, that's all I needed you for. Okay? So, it's a hard pill to swallow. And like I said, we are in Scorpio season for real. And the sex talk is truly a real conversation. Anyway, now I'm gonna go. Bye. Thank you for watching.